A lot of people, hey, by the way, it's John Duncan. A lot of people wonder, like, what's the difference between 1 and 10 million net worth, or 10 and 20, 20 and 100? And what's super interesting, if you think about it, is that most people spend most of their life, 30, 40, 50 years in middle class environment. And essentially, once they have a career or a business that starts taking off and they start making big money, it's like them going to LAX and jumping on a plane and flying to a foreign country where they don't have a map, they don't have their phone, they don't know the language. And what happens is, obviously, in that environment, it's fearful. And what a lot of professionals do is they just continue doing what they were doing before they started making money. And what happens is it will be like flying to that foreign country and pretending it's like the town you flew from, going to the store and so forth, walk in the same direction, but there's no store down there. And why is the money game so challenging in the first place? It's because they made it that way. The government and the super wealthy made it complex to keep most people out. The system's not designed for you to get rich. So the point of the matter is that many people will either A, give up and just do whatever the people around them say to do if they have a few advisors. I mean, when you think about your advisors, and I'm not hating on any of that, I'm sure they're trying to do the best thing they can for you. But here's the point. How do you compare what they're doing for you versus, like, how would you go shop that? Most people have no reference point. And the question I'd ask is, if four of your closest friends were billionaires, would you be managing your money the way you are now? And it's that same thought. I love it when they say, like, if you have four skinny friends, you're going to be skinny. You're going to be the fifth one. It's the reality of, even in the money game, that the only difference between 1 and 10 and 10 and 20, and I'm assuming that the income doesn't change that much. See, the middle class thing is all about income. Well, if I just earn more, I could get there. And actually, it has very little to do with that. It's all about strategy. It's all about strategy. And back in the day, I was at one of the top firms in the country back in the early 90s. And in 1994, I went on my own. Why? Because they didn't offer real solutions for real people. They had their solutions. It was agenda driven. And a shocking thing to me is, all the awards and so forth at bigger, big firms, big known firms, they go to the top sales, the top number of clients, the top amount of assets. What they never even once ever discuss is the actual return for the actual client. And for me, I think that's why I have built such a business that I have. It's always been about the client. To hell with me or the company. It's about the client getting the best return possible, whether that's with me or whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, it's all about reference. And what I mean is, if you're at that point, you're not Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey level, just trying to get out of debt. I'm talking about you've got some assets, you've got a good career, you own a great business, you're making some good income. That is the point that you have that choice. The choice is A, continue with no map, no phone, no direction, and keep hoping it's going to work. And you'll end up as a marginalized version of your full potential and take more risks than you ever would if you just learned a few reference points to go from. Or B, get educated and be around people that are at your level and above. It's hard when you go to the gym and work out for 6 months and your family's not into health. After a point, you just kind of give up. I've done it many times myself. Now, fortunately, my family's into health a little bit more, but the point is, if you're not around people that are pushing you to learn more, to grow more, that's the difference. 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 50, 50 to 100. Now, fortunately, I have worked with, strategized with, and am friends with people at every level up to a billionaire. And what I've learned from them is probably more than what they've learned from me. But what they come to me for is because I look at myself as the curator. I curate ideas. I'm a connoisseur of good ideas. I'm not tied to any company, anything. I'm here to figure out mathematically what makes sense. And we've brought it all back around to one thing. There's 3 pillars that the 1% do that have nothing to do with the market, nothing to do with their income, none of that. 3 pillars that they focus on, and that's their focus. That's why they're at such a high level of wealth. It isn't because they're the Einstein of money. It's that they're focused on 3 areas that the middle class doesn't have, the time or energy to think about. So, bottom line is, what is your reference points? And what I'm doing and what I've created is a simple step-by-step 6-week program that will walk you from, like, you could be total middle class, but have some dollars, good income and assets. And in 6 weeks, you'll have a PhD in what it's going to take it to 10 or 20 or 30. And believe me, you may not even want more money. That's not the point. The point is, you may need it down the road, or someone in your world may need it down the road. I truly believe, I went to Cabo like year 2000. I think it was year 2000, right around that time. And the haves and have not, we were staying at a 5-star resort. The haves, and then on the beach were people that I don't know how, I don't know if they had $1 on, literally. And I said back then, America is fast becoming that, a third world type of company or country, meaning there's going to be a grand divide. And now that's already taken place. And in the training that I put together, you'll understand exactly why that's happening. And one, it's a terrible thing if you want to just lay low. But B, for those that understand, more wealth is being created. The opportunity to actually maximize wealth has never been as good as it is right now. And the government and banks will help you do it. They're hell-bent on getting as much money into the economy as possible. $5.9 million or $1 billion a day so far in 2019, 7 days a week. Just a quick fact on that. To be in the 0.1%, the richest 0.1 in America, you need to have about I think it's $43 million, 43 million. When they basically allow $5.9 billion to hit the economy every day, they're creating like 140 plus more dollars, 140 of the richest of the rich in. And here's the thing, it's just diluting the money supply. That's why 86% of the value of the dollars disappeared since 1971. But anyway, these are some of the things you'll learn in the training that I've put together. So if this makes sense, if you need reference points, you need to go to somebody that has the reference. You can't go to a lowly advisor that's working with average people. Even though you love the person, you could love that person. If they don't have the strategies to take you from 1 to 10, 10 to 20, you're at the wrong place. And even if you stay with them, that's fine if at least you know how to push yourself. Because here's the deal. The biggest misconception is that to go from here to here, you're going to have to take a bunch of risks. That's middle class thing. The actual thing is it's going to reverse and you're going to take less. You're just going to do it a lot smarter. So anyway, that's enough of that. I appreciate you, John Duncan, and I'll put the details of that training down in the notes here. Anyway, have a good one. Appreciate it.